As a drummer, oftentimes, you know, we like to express ourselves fully on this instrument, you know, powerfully, with a lot of force, and I do like to do that. But I think a balance, there needs to be balance, yin, yang, male, female, masculine, feminine. And you can't just be all yang, you can't be all power. And what happens oftentimes is there's the distribution of, the balance is off with our musicianship, probably in general in society, but we're speaking music here. The balance is sometimes a bit off. We want to express ourselves more than we want to be a part of a team or of a whole. We want to get to our solo before we are concerned about making the other person's solo sound better or more musical. My view as a drummer in this tradition, I like to call myself an accompanist, accompanying musician. Sideman is a term that has been accepted and is used for many, many years, but I think it doesn't really do service to what it is that we do. Because we're not just on the side to some autocratic leader. You know, jazz has been known to be democratic, so to speak. So playing the drums, you have a lot of power at your disposal. You can wipe everybody out at any moment if you chose to do that. So a bit of taste is in order. And that's a word that one of my teachers, the late great Freddie Waits, used to always use in my lessons. You gotta have taste. Nash, you gotta have taste. You know, be aware of what's going on around you. And I think all of us who play the drums in this tradition are used to listening to what's going on around us. And I think that's one of the reasons why drummers make good band leaders, or could potentially make good band leaders, because we're always used to hearing someone else's concept. You know, I've had an opportunity to play with people who are very clearly descriptive and specific about what it is they want. And I've played with people who have been very unspecific and leave a lot to your discretion. And both of those ways can work. For example, John Lewis of the MJQ. I remember making a recording with him. And with John Lewis, he was the type of musician where if he wanted you to play the bell of the cymbal with the back end of the brush on the 3rd 16th note of beat 2 of bar 27, he was listening for it. Whereas I played 10 years in the trio of the great Tommy Flanagan, and we probably rehearsed once or twice in 10 years. And his arrangements were quite involved, but I had to learn them on the stage. So there's two different ways of doing it. Sonny Rollins is the same way. The first time I rehearsed with Sonny, we just went into in the rehearsal studio and he just played tunes. And we didn't play any of those tunes on the gig. So it had to do with a feeling. You know, so I guess what I'm trying to say is there's no, for you drummers who are trying to find your way and fit into different situations as well as your own, there's no one way to do things. The great Ray Brown, when he would play bass solos, he liked time on a closed hi-hat. Whereas Rufus Reid would always ask for an open ride cymbal on his bass solos. He didn't particularly care for the closed hi-hat. Or these types of things. There's no one way to do anything. So you have to keep your antenna up, your awareness about you as you kind of venture into this accompanying musician, sideman, playing the drums territory, I guess you could say. And so after Betty, I had a chance to play with some other New York musicians. I joined the group of bassist Ron Carter, and Ron taught me a lot about tuning the drums. He had a certain feeling about the tuning of the bass drum in a way that it didn't wipe out his bass notes when he's walking in a certain range. And he liked clarity, which I tended to like anyway. I tune my drums generally a bit higher pitched than most other guys would, because I like a certain kind of soloistic clarity in the toms and etc. So whereas some guys like theirs low, where there's not much, you can't tell much difference in the intervals. I like a clear intervals, and that way, the way Max Roach or Billy Higgins or people like that would play, you could get a more melodic, or I like to call it a linear concept soloing wise on the drums, and then the things that you intersperse while you're playing time would speak with a certain clarity as well.